Welcome to Soul Therapy with Chelle. I am Chelle Griffin and I practice as a soul doula. I combine therapeutic knowledge and lived experience with a healthy dose of spiritual exploration. Feel welcome to join me as we learn and grow together, exploring the magic and wonderment of experiencing life on earth as a spiritual being. Well, hello, beautiful listeners. Welcome back to Soul Therapy with Chelle. I am here today with a beautiful new friend, and our colleague's not the right word. We're both doing a mentorship with under a shared mentor, Tina Tower, through her Empire Builder. And this is the gorgeous Belinda Stark, who I was really drawn to when I was at a recent conference, and just fascinated by her story and the work she does as a alcohol support coach or mindset coach. So welcome, Belinda.
Hi, Chelle. Thanks for having me.
Feels a bit weird chatting with a friend.
But more fun.
It does. So Belinda, a little bit about you. You support people who are trying to hold it all together, the family, the caregiver, the career, but somewhere along the way they're getting lost. And you've noticed through your one-to-one coaching experience that you reached a turning point of how you can gently reset your own drinking habits and support others to achieve that too, by reclaiming control and helping women to wake up feeling proud, clear-headed and calm so that they can cut out or take a break from alcohol, and you meet them gorgeously in a beautiful, gentle way wherever they are at. Does that sound right? Would you like to elaborate on that?
That sounds lovely. Yes, no, you encapsulated it very nicely. Yes, the alcohol mindset coach for grey area drinking women, which really means you're drinking a bit too much. I don't identify as an alcoholic, and nor do I support alcoholics. But a lot of women that out there do drink a little bit too much or have fallen into a habit.
Yeah, or might notice that I'm not managing my alcohol intake the way I once was. I know personally for me, with being in perimenopause, I don't have the tolerance that I once had. I cannot sustain what I used to be capable of drinking, and noticing, going, oh, hang on, it creates a reflection of, am I drinking too much? What should I be doing? And that reassessment, which is you come into play. So how did you fall into the role of alcohol mindset coach?
Might just add too on the perimenopause, alcohol is like throwing gas on the fire. When you have menopause, your liver shrinks, you can't metabolize it as well, and it feeds the anxiety and what have you. How I fell into it was 2.5 years ago. I woke up with some shakes, which frightened me, but also a bit of a disorientation. So what do? You Dr. Google, which I did, and went down that rabbit hole, and look, it frightened me. And also at the time, so it was December 22, my oldest son, he'd settled down with a lovely girl who he's still with. He was 27 at the time. And I thought, these guys, they've got a future together. And if they have children, I'm a bit concerned they probably wouldn't let me look after them. And that was a big sort of turning point too. But ultimately I just woke up and I was sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, and something had to give, and I knew deep down that it was alcohol. So that's how it began. I saw my GP first with my husband, and he was very supportive, and he said, "You're very courageous and brave. There are so many patients that he has that won't do it or won't admit it." But he also said, and he's been my GP for 30 years, he also said, "You also got to remember, though, that the buck stops with you." And that really stuck too. So I got home, and I'm a bit of an all or nothing. I'm a team extreme, which can be really good sometimes, but not so good, depending on what the all or nothing is. So rather than the all or nothing with alcohol, I threw myself into what's known as sober curiosity. And as I threw myself into podcasts and found books and what have you, I realized I wasn't the only one out there and there was nothing to feel ashamed about. And it really helped me. Then I reached out to a few different groups. A lot of the groups you had to, part of joining was you had to give up straight away, like cold turkey. That scared me and I didn't want to have to do that. But I did find a group where they weren't the rules. And that's where it all began. And I slowly cut back and my whole life transformed for the better.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's sort of the start.
And you make it sound really effortless, which I can imagine was not the case at all. And the work of like leaning into even cutting back and putting that pressure on yourself of like, how much do I cut back? How much am I capable of cutting back? Really reassessing your relationship with alcohol without that shaming lens. I think the shame is such a big part of it because we are in a country that, alcohol is woven into the cultural fabric of Australian society. It's a rite of passage for like turn 18, you're given a yard glass and there's almost this expectation that if you can't handle it, you're not Australian. And it's like none of which I buy into. But there's that underlying social conditioning that we've all just become accustomed to and not really questioned. We might, turn our nose up at certain elements of it, but are we making real change? And as a society, there is this little shift occurring. It's gaining momentum, definitely. I love that your husband was supportive and you were able to go to your GP and receive more support without that label of shame. That's, I guess, maybe a big part of the clients that you work with.
Definitely. Yeah. Do you know what I say? I say like the beating yourself up every morning from drinking too much and just being, ashamed and horrible to yourself and blah, blah, blah. If that works, we all would have stopped our drinking or changed our drinking. But for years and years, I did it too. I was beat myself up. You've done it again. You're this, you're that real nasty inner critic. But what I do, and I did it for myself and with my clients, is it's not about self-critical change. It's about self-compassionate change. And that's what you need. And that's where a coach comes in beautifully. Like, you need that support, but you need that encouragement and honestly not beating yourself up, which is, easier said than done because particularly after a night of drinking, it's a depressant. So you are down on yourself. But that's what I found really, really helped. Lots and lots of love and kindness to yourself.
And from a practical perspective, did you find that it was a while before those symptoms of shaking really lessened?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Honestly, when I cut back after a few days, yeah, definitely. They just dissipated. But even after, as I slowly cut back, I noticed that I was not as foggy in the morning. I felt so proud that I had done this after being a bottle of wine or more a night drinker for many years. So you definitely notice changes, if not in sleep and what have you straight away. You just wake up proud that you've done it and a little bit empowered each time.
Yeah. And then the challenge of the why was I needing the alcohol? And having to face that without the aid of alcohol, the one thing that would give you the courage to either cover it up or live into it.
Yeah, well, you're dampening it down with alcohol. So it's really scary to not have that element and all the things that you've been trying to numb down bubble up. So it's not just about giving up drinking. I mean, sometimes it's challenging. You've got to do the work. But sometimes that's the easier part. I've got a client at the moment. She's gone 3 weeks, completely stopped, and she's finding herself very emotional because she hasn't dealt with these emotions before, but I keep explaining there's light at the end of the tunnel, and she knows there is, because when you get these feelings and you deal with them in a beautiful, authentic, loving way, your personal growth, you will bloom. You really will. So, yeah, that's what I find.
And by sitting with those emotions, they arise, you're allowing them to flow through the body, which is what we're designed to do. If we suppress them or, drown them out with a bottle, then we're storing those emotions in our body. And that can manifest in a myriad of ways through like physical illness, mental health setbacks, physical violence, rage, mood swings, so many ways, obsessions in other ways, newfound addictions, because that bottle is
Your helper.
not necessarily enough to suppress them. So you up the ante. So, wow.
And as I think particularly in our generation, as little girls, we were told to be quiet, and, if you were crying, there, now, come on now, not acknowledging those feelings in a positive way, in a way to deal with them. Or, if you were showing off or playing up, well, there you go, you're playing up, you're carrying on. And so as women, and we've been doing the juggle and what have you, we're not very well equipped with how to handle these emotions in a positive light.
Yeah, it's been modeled to us just to suppress.
Yeah.
And we're there as that sort of in-between generation, wanting to be the creator of change and the cycle breakers. So wanting that connection with our children, wanting to acknowledge feelings and provide space, while we've got other generations criticizing us for no, they just need a smack on the bum or throw them into timeout or ground them or whatever. It's like, no, we actually need to meet our kids heart to heart and find out what's going on for them and acknowledge that we see that, and sets them up to be able to sit with their own feelings as they arise in adulthood.
We're actually, I think we're the pioneers, we're the trailblazers in a lot of ways, because if you look at menopause now, even in the last few years, that wasn't talked about the way it is now. And that's what I and my sober curious, mentors and what have you, hope to do with alcohol too. And so each generation is mindful and informed and has some better skills.
Yeah. And just, we're finding our voice, aren't we?
Correct.
We're reaching, and that's the whole premise of menopause. It's like, I heard someone refer to it as cougar puberty the other day. Like, how wild is that? Like, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I probably look at my teens and go, I could probably cry as much as you can in the heat of the moment, and you get all wired and want to stay up at night. I'm waking up in night sweats. It's so parallel. And because we're having kids later in life, we're menopause. What were we thinking? But we're also coming into that wisdom of finding our voice and having that courage to speak, and people are listening, which that just don't remember. I remember old people just becoming invisible, and it's they're the generation that we've got so much to learn from. Not criticizing them that they've made all the mistakes. There's wisdom there that they've made their own mistakes, and they've learned from that and flourished and in their own way. So we can, take what feels like it's going to work and harness that energy and carry it forth in just a new and different way. Change the narrative that that internal browbeating obviously hasn't worked, and that silence and suppression hasn't worked. So, let's try something new.
Yeah. It's really key to, not just alcohol and what have you. If you can have a loving relationship with yourself and have that sort of mindset, you'll excel in all parts of your life. You know, it's that self-chatter, and it's hard, but it's worth it.
And that concludes part 1 of our episode with our wonderfully gorgeous guest, Belinda Stark. I hope you enjoyed it and have been able to take something vital away from our conversation. Now stay tuned for part 2 coming next week. Thank you for showing up for yourself by listening to Soul Therapy with Chelle. Feel welcome to subscribe to my podcast, share the pod with your friends, family, colleagues and neighbours. And please, if you are willing, I would absolutely love a 5-star review to give my little pod a boost in the algorithms. For further detail on how to work with me, please visit my website www.chellegriffin.com or find me on the socials. I hope you'll join me on my next episode. Till then, go gently and intentionally. With care, Chelle.